Hey Lord, take a look all around tonight. I found where my baby's gonna be. Hey Lord, would you look out for her tonight, 'cause she is far across the sea. Hey Lord, would you look out for her tonight, make sure that she's gonna be alright. Things are gonna be alright with me. Hey Lord, would you look out for her tonight, make sure that all her dreams are sweet. Hey Lord, would you guide her along the roads and make them softer for her feet. Hey Lord, would you look out for her tonight and make sure that she's gonna be alright till she's home in here with me. Hey Lord, would you look out for her tonight, she's sleeping under the sky. Hey Lord, make sure the ground she's sleeping on is always warm and dry. Hey, don't you give her too much rain, but try to keep her away from pain, 'cause my baby hates to cry. Too much rain, try to keep her away from pain, 'cause my baby hates to cry. Hey Lord, would you look out for her tonight, 'cause it gets rough along the way. Except now this song sounds strange, it's just because I don't know how to pray. Oh, won't you give her peace of mind? And if you ever find the time, won't you tell her I miss her every day? Oh. So won't you give her peace of mind? And if you ever find the time, won't you tell her I miss her every day? Hey Lord, take a look all around tonight and find out where my baby's gonna be. Hey Lord, would you look out for her tonight, like she is far across the sea. Hey Lord, will you look out for her tonight and make sure that she's gonna be alright. Things are gonna be alright with me. With me. People get ready, there's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear diesels humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. People get ready for the train to Jordan, picking up passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key, open the doors and boarding. There's room for all among the loved and lost. Now there ain't no room for the hopeless sinner whose heart on mankind just to save his own soul. Have pity on them whose chances are thinner, for there's no hiding place from the kingdom throne. Oh, people get ready, there's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesel humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. Train to Jordan, picking up passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key, open the doors and board them. There's room for all among the loved and lost. People get ready for the train to Jordan. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesel humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. You don't need no ticket. Siyahamba, 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 siyahamba kukanyeni kwenkos, siyahamba kukanyeni kwenkos. Siyahamba kukanyeni kwenkos, siyahamba kukanyeni kwenkos. Siyahamba, hamba, siyahamba, oh, siyahamba kukanyeni kwenkos. Siyahamba, hamba, siyahamba, oh, siyahamba kukanyeni kwenkos. We are marching in the light of God. 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 We are marching, oh, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching, oh, we are marching in the light of God. 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 We are marching, we are marching, oh, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching, we are marching, oh, we are marching in the light of God. We are moving in the power of God. We are moving in the power of God. We are moving in the power of God. We are moving in the Evening, everybody. It is the right show. It's 8 o'clock on a Sunday. Regular crowd shuffles in. There's an old man, he's sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and gin. He said, son, can you play me a memory? I'm not really sure how it goes, but it's sad and it's sweet, and I knew it complete when I wore a younger man's clothes. La la la, la la la, la la la, la la la, la la. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody. I hope you are, and you got us feeling all right. Now, John at the bar, he's a friend of mine. He gets me my drinks free. And he's quick with a joke, or he'll light up your smoke. But there's some place that he'd rather be. He said, John, I believe this is killing me. As a smile ran away from his face. Oh, I know I could be a big movie star if I could get out of this place. La la la, la la la. La 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 la. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling all right. Now Paul, he's a real estate novelist who never had time for a wife. And he's talking to Davy, who's still in the Navy and probably will be for life. Oh, and the waitress is practicing politics. As the businessman slowly gets stoned. Oh, this sharing a drink they call loneliness. It's better than drinking alone. La la la, la la la. La la la, la la la, la la. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody. You've got us feeling all right. It's a reasonable crowd for a Sunday in August with no many people away on holiday. Watching from holiday. Excellent. How are you feeling, all of you? I'm feeling a bit less than, having been ill on my holiday. There's no man sicker than a man who's sick on his day off.
Absolutely.
And the man, she can give you a smile if she wants. Go on in, because I'm not. I'm going to be Mr. Miserable tonight.
Did you nearly forget the words to Piano Man? Did you nearly forget the words?
What do we speak about today?
Yes.
I'll talk about it in a minute.
We'll talk about it in a minute.
Also,
episode for getting the fact this piano is so badly out of tune.
Dear.
And Jerry phoned me the other
He
day,
did.
and I did not, and I thought should have got it front tune on the Friday. You could come in to the house and got it done, but I didn't. And now you listen to this. Oh dear. So I'll try and avoid those. I'll have to go. Remember doing. Do you remember this? I think I told you before. Turned that to a piano. And in the middle C, just if you come down this side here, you can put it out on the keyboard. Can you do the keys, Cam? Yeah, here we are. That is middle C. Middle C, right? A crucial note. It's what you often start on, right? There's middle C, right? And I turned up to a church, and that whole note wasn't there.
There was a hole in the
missing.
piano.
There was literally a hole in the piano. I opened the lid, and you can put it on me again. And she said, I said to the woman organising the event, this is why I take my own piano. I said to the woman organising, I said, there's no middle C. And she looked at me with all seriousness. She said, is that important? It was just after that I bought a keyboard.
Yes, absolutely.
And
that in itself is another story.
No, I'll tell you that one. Yeah, that's a good story, isn't it? Because that... Were you talking about going into the music shop?
Yeah, that one.
Gosh, that was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Those of you who guessed 8 minutes, you're way out.
Well, yeah, because I included the extra verse that I forgot. And I'm doing this for you. It's holiday time. We can do what we want. And we've got Ben Casey coming in, who's got a fantastic presentation for you all.
He does. Lots of lovely pictures.
Lots of pictures and a movie, all kinds of things that are just coming on this show tonight. Things you're going to find out. It's going to be a wonderful journey of exploration through the stars.
Certainly is.
So I go and finishing Piano Man. Yeah, we are finishing Piano Man, yeah. She's writing to me. Rachel writes to me, you see. And it's always interesting trying to figure out what she's saying because I can't see much. And she's writing and rewriting. So it's a great music community. Anyway, so I go into this music shop in Guildford. And I had decided what piano I wanted. But I'd known that the piano, it was the Roland FP9. It's a fabulous... I still use it on tour. Sometimes now, I've got two that I take on tour with me. And it's a great electric piano with 20-watt speakers. And at the time, it was on for £1,600, which back in the day... Oh, yeah, back in the day. There we go. So, what's yours? So... Oh, and please do write in. You know, a lot of you wrote in. Oh, you have? All right, okay. Any more, any that you didn't think of, any cliches that you want, that you really hate to hear? We're going to go through them. We didn't read them out last week. It was last time. It was our fault. Anyway, back in the day, went into this music shop, and I went in at 9 o'clock in the morning. And I always do deals. That's my thing. I like deals. I don't ever accept... They said, no, it's £1,600, mate. £1,600. That's the price, you know. We'll give you a little bit of discount. We'll give you a free bag. And I thought, yeah, right, I'm not interested in that. So I said, okay. And I sat there. It was 9 o'clock in the morning, okay? And I went in, and I started, and I just sat there playing. Played and played and played and played. And the guy said, do you need any help? I said, no, I'm just staying. Yeah, I'm just... And 11:15 came and they said, do you want a cup of coffee? I said, yeah, that'd be great, thanks very much. And brought me a cup of coffee. And I stayed another hour and a half. They said, do you want a sandwich? We said, we're making a sandwich. So I said, that'd be lovely, thanks very much. Had lunch there. And I said, so what's the deal? The guy said, okay, I'll talk to the guy and then we'll give you £200 off. And I said, okay. I said, that's fine, I'll just stay here a bit longer. And... This is absolutely true. And I stayed, wait for this, the shop was closing at 5:30. At 5:20, they came to me and they said, he said he'll give it to you for 960.
But please leave.
We so I went with it.
Piano Man anymore.
Tucked underneath my arm, right, for 600 and something pounds less than it cost. It was obsolete that day. It was literally, they were selling it off because it was no longer made. And I kept that piano and I still use it on tour now. Some 20 years, some 20-something years, isn't it? It must be something like that. So, annoying cliches, right, so. What's the line? I've forgotten what the line is.
The manager gives you a smile.
The manager gives me a smile, 'cause he knows that it's me. Without doubt, however bad I am, they've been coming to see. To forget about life. For a while. Microphone, it smells just like a beer. It's summer, come on. And they sit at the bar and put bread in my jar and say, man, what are you doing here? La 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 la. Piano man, sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling all right. Down. We welcome you to another great evening of JV Life in the Steinway Room. And here's a little song called Show a Little Mercy. Who's this for, Sue?
This was Karen Mecklenburg's idea. Great idea too,
Great idea.
actually.
Nobody is right all the time. Nobody can walk a straight line. Every one of us makes mistakes. Every one of us deviates. Nobody is right all the time. Nobody gets dealt the same hand. Whose life goes according to plan. No telling what the day will bring. No telling how night will end. Nobody gets dealt the same hand. So come on and show a little mercy up there on the high ground. Show a little mercy. You might be the next one down. Show a little mercy. Join hands with the human race. You never know, someday you might need some saving grace. Oh yes, you might need some saving grace. Don't set yourself up for a fall. Don't think yourself high above all. Keep walking with the humble man. Keep walking till you understand. Don't set yourself up for a fall. So come on and show a little mercy up there on the high ground. Show a little mercy. You might be the next one down. Show a little mercy. Join hands with the human race. You never know, someday you might need some saving grace. Show a little mercy up there on the high ground. Show a little mercy. You might be the next one down. Show a little mercy. Join hands with the human race. You never know, someday you might need some saving grace. You might need some saving grace. Show a little mercy. You might need some saving grace. You might need some saving grace. Show a little mercy. Show a little mercy. Show a little mercy. You might need some saving grace. That's right. You might need it. I might need it. So, show a little mercy. I don't know. Here we go. Oh, that little bit. Down. There it goes. How about that as a song? Well, welcome everybody. Love to see you all here.
There's a little bit of debate about the hat.
Right.
They love it. They love it. Best one, they reckon. But Michael Cooper's just pointed out the black hats denote the villains in westerns usually.
That's about right. You got
but
it right,
can I
Michael.
just point out, it isn't black, it's brown.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was black.
It's not brown. Now you know why I looked after the decorating, choosing of colours.
Yes. As for the decoration. Don't get me started on that. Do you know, for the whole of the 2 weeks, well, I was ill for a lot of it. And while I was there, I was literally, my mind was upset. I was upset by this. The chaos that we'd left behind. I told you last night, those of you tuned in, that we left. I thought, what am I doing with a tablet box in my pocket?
They get everywhere.
Everywhere. And we left this room on that Sunday night.
We did.
And
we finished the show.
And then I then
shifted all the furniture.
I was knackered. I was totally piano out for the next time from the wall. We had to move it into the west wing, didn't we? It was awful. And I'm getting ready for the lovely Al Duncan, who is and Lorna. They came round the other day after for him to do it, and he came round and put the pictures up.
He did.
Do you know what's really weird?
Wonderful.
My wall has never ever seen screws. It's only ever had bent nails. He pulled them all out.
I think he was quite amused by all the bent nails.
He collected them, didn't he?
He did. I threw them all away ceremoniously.
Why do you care? You should have kept them.
Oh, yeah,
to go with the other collection.
I could have done an installation, couldn't I?
You could have done the bent nail collection. Okay. Anyway, that was what we did, and we came back in and we had to get it all just because. And then Sue's mum wasn't very well while we were away, and so she thought in fact she probably did have a TIA mini stroke, and so we came back to see her, and that was a bit of a distressing visit yesterday. So Sue's a little bit more subdued today, aren't you? As am I.
I'll try not.
I know, but it's a difficult one. And a very difficult one. But we also think of other people's mums.
Yeah,
Helen Coleman was sharing last night about it. Right. And lots of people are walking that walk.
Lots of people are in difficult places at the moment.
Well, actually, I'm talking about parents right now, about dementia and parents, and particularly. It's a difficult road to walk. But we thought we'd just kind of do a show tonight. And do you know what's really weird? Is that I'd forgotten. How could I forget that Ben Casey was coming on? Ben the Spaceman Casey.
Ben. I'm so
I know. Ben. And there was I. How could I forget? I was thinking, what will we do tomorrow night? I did. Anyway, there's a song I want to do. I want to sing a song. I hope you enjoyed that.
We did.
Now,
It was
it's
a great song.
Complete shift of gear. All right. We were listening to a collection of songs from the 70s. We were away.
Fact, he set a sort of test up for me, didn't you?
Yes.
He sort of just kept playing songs and saying, "Can you name it in?" How many seconds were you putting on?
I was putting 2 seconds of each song.
Could I name a song in the first 2 seconds? I think I started off quite well, and then I sort of flagged.
No, you did after about 47 songs. You got 47 songs from the 70s. Anything above 1972, you don't think existed. No. I don't think,
80s was not my era.
It was really not your era, was it? Any cliches have come through. So read some cliches out for us. Come on, that people really hate.
Well, a few from last week was going forward.
Oh, that's a horrible one. It just means nothing, does it? Going forward. They all use it now. They use it in organisational structures.
Going forward. Blue sky.
The NHS, going forward,
yes,
we're going to be as bad as we ever were. That's what they mean.
To be honest.
Oh, no. Which means absolutely not honest.
Honest.
That's the same as...
yes. With the greatest of respect.
With the greatest of respect, which means no respect at all. Right?
Cindy said,
Oh, do you know, Do you know that is probably one of my it's somebody said it's the paucity of language which leads us to say it in our modern language. Go on.
Way back when.
Way back when, it's close to mine,
close
isn't
to
it?
yours. Well, you often use that one when you don't
Way
use.
back when, yeah.
Back
way
in
back
the day.
When, yeah, back in the day.
Back in the day has become a new one for you.
Oh, it has, only because I heard somebody say it was my plumber, Mike.
Yeah, it was, that's right.
Yeah. Back in the day.
What else?
It is what it is.
Need to be mindful.
Need to be mindful.
Yes, but need to be mindful of.
Oh,
when
right.
all's said and done.
Oh, when all's said and done.
I don't want to offend.
But I'm now going to offend. That is it, isn't it? That is it.
I hear what you're saying, and I'm going to completely ignore it.
And I haven't heard exactly what you're saying. In fact, I haven't heard anything.
You know what I mean.
You know what I mean? Oh, you know what I mean? Okay.
Got a few coming in.
We've got a few coming in. Go on then.
So, Helen Thomas, yes, Horizon View.
Horizon View. Or how about Sky Blue Thinking? How about that one?
Yes,
that's a good one.
I can't bear that one. Sky Blue
Sky
Thinking.
Blue Thinking. Again, what does it mean?
Blue Sky. Blue Sky,
Blue Sky thinking. Sorry, yeah.
We all think that we know what these phrases mean, but we don't actually know.
How about this one that our friend Andy uses? Upstream marketing.
Upstream marketing.
Yeah, that's the one that I was annoyed by that. I should have called him out on that one.
John Barnes said, good title for an album, The Bent Nail Collection.
I love that, John. The Bent Nail Collection.
Brilliant.
Anything else?
I'm just looking. Yeah, people enjoying the sort of the idea of name that tune. They sort of got into that idea.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, we can't play any of them.
Elaine Hayward said, picking the low-hanging fruit.
Oh.
Owen Lamb said, let me be clear on this.
Excellent,
Let me be completely unclear.
Yeah, that's nice.
Let me be clear on this, and I'm going to just
and
repeat everything I've just said again.
Oh, that applies to notices in churches. I think the notices are self-explanatory, so let's go through them one by one. Isn't that what we do at church? Isn't that what we do? The notices are self-explanatory, so let's go through them one by one.
Almost invariably.
Almost invariably.
And that was Stuart McCready.
That's a nice one. Nice to have you back, Stuart. All right, anything else? Should we come back to them in a minute, all right?
Keep going.
And this one.
Keep
now,
going.
this... Can you recognise it? No.
You mean, can you remember it?
Can you remember it? This one goes way back to 1972, I think it does. And it goes like this. Memories light the corners of my mind, misty watercolor memories of the way we were. Scattered pictures of the smiles we left behind, smiles we gave to one another for the way we were. Can it be that we're all so simple then? Or has time rewritten every line? And if we had the chance to do it all again, tell me, would we? Could we? Memories,
may be beautiful and yet what's too painful to remember, we simply choose to forget. So it's laughter we will remember whenever we remember. We were.
Well, that was beautiful. I think we'll hear that one again at some point. That was lovely. And yes, it's called The Way We Were, not Memories. I kept thinking it was called Memories, and in fact it's called
The Way.
That's a different one. Now I've got to scroll back through this because I was doing cameras then, so I got a bit I couldn't write anything down.
How come you were doing cameras?
Because I think Rachel had to pop off for a second. We've had some, yes, Stuart McCready said keeping a long story short and then telling the long version.
Yes.
He said JV is a master at that one.
Excuse me?
Karen Bate came up with a glorious one. Put the pig on the wall to watch the band go by.
Sorry? Sorry?
Put the pig on the wall to watch the band go by.
Where did that come from?
Well, she reckons you have to have your hearings in a put the pig on the wall, watch the band go by.
Picture the wall. What's that? Right. The other one is, I'm sorry, I'm up because I'm waiting for the hens to go to bed.
Oh, well, that's
That was John Bown. That was last night. Made me laugh so much.
We've got some nice ones here from church notices and that sort of thing. Praying for the sick of the church. Praying for those sick of the church.
So sick of the
Or for those lying on a bed of sickness.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a phrase, isn't it? Lying on their bed of sickness.
Karen,
We've got to move on.
Louise, no, one more. Louise Day said, Karen Bates, almost as good as my mum saying when you ask where something is, under my armpit, hanging from a sky hook.
What's that about?
I know. Okay, carry on.
She packed my bag last night, pre-flight. Near hours, 9 a.m. And I'm gonna be high as a kite by then. I miss the earth so much, I miss my wife. I'm lonely out in space. I'm such a timeless flight. Oh, and I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh no, 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 I'm a rocket man. Rocket man, burning out a fuse out here alone. Mars ain't the kind of place to raise your kids. In fact, it's cold as hell, and there's no one there to raise them. If you did, and all the science I don't understand. It's just my job 5 days a week. I'm a rocket man, oh rocket man, rocket man. gonna be a long, long time. The touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a rocket man. Rocket man, burning as a fuse out here alone. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. Space evening tonight, so here we are. Les Mis. There, out in the darkness, a fugitive running, fallen from grace, fallen from grace. God be my witness, I never shall yield till we come face to face. Till we come face to face. He knows his way in the dark. Mine is the way of the Lord, and those who follow the path of the righteous shall have their reward. And if you, as Lucifer fell, you fall, then in their multitudes, scarce to be counted, filling the darkness with order and light. You are the sentinels, silent and sure, keeping watch in the night. Keeping watch in the night. You know your place in the sky. You know your course and your aim. And each in your season returns and returns, and is always the same. And if they fall as Lucifer fell, they fall in flame. And so it has been, and so it is written on the doorway to paradise. And those who falter, and those who fall, must pay the price. Lord, let me find him, that I may see him, safe behind bars. I will never rest till then. This I swear, this I swear by the stars. And I forgot a word.
Well, we didn't notice that.
And
can
what
I
we
just
say
say,
about?
before we move on to that, I just need to say happy anniversary to Anne and Melvin Bynum.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was written down on my list to wish you happy anniversary. 46 years you've been married, and happy anniversary today. And Anne very nicely said, can't think of a nicer way to celebrate our 46th anniversary than with us two in the Steinway room. And that's marvellous, because
Anne,
we're glad you're here.
That's lovely.
So thank you.
It's lovely.
Thank you very, very much.
You're very loyal listeners, together with Cindy, who introduced us. And
yes, thank
well,
you.
I don't know who introduced who, really, to be honest. I'm going to do 2 songs together. And
Ooh, guess I'm a little bit carried
one
away
is,
here.
yeah, I'm going to do a song for David Clegg.
Ah, yes.
And I'm going to put it a song for Chloe. So actually, if
So
we could, as soon as I'm finished this one, if you could go
Okay.
into the next one, Rach,
So,
that'd be good. So that would be Just a Closer Walk.
so we think of David. He's had a nasty fall, and he's in less pain now, but he's a bit frail and struggling to recover. And dear Erica and David are meant to be joining us at Thornley. I don't know whether it's next week or the week after. I can't remember. I'm so sorry. But we send you love and thoughts and prayers for a quick recovery, David, so that you can join us and be part of the fun and games over there. But we love you, and this one is for you.
Just a couple of verses. God sent his son. They called him Jesus. He came to love, heal and forgive. He lived and died to buy an empty grave is there to prove my Savior lives, because He lives. I can face tomorrow, because He lives. All fear is gone, because I know He holds the future, and life is worth the living just because He lives. And then one day I'll cross the river, I'll fight life's final war with pain. And then, as death gives way to victory, I'll see the lights of glory, and I know He lives, because He lives. I can face tomorrow, because I know He holds the future, and life is worth the living just because He lives. Life is worth the living just because one's for Chloe. Missed it last week. Here we go. I am weak, but thou art strong. Jesus, keep me from our wrong. I'll be satisfied as long as I walk, or let me walk with thee. Through this world of toils and snares, if I falter, Lord, who cares? Who with me my burden shares? None but thee, dear Lord. Just a closer walk with thee, granted Jesus, this my plea. I'm daily walking close with thee, let it be, dear Lord, let it be. When all my feeble life is o'er, and time for me will be no more, guide me gently, safely home to thy shore, to thy kingdom shore. Just a closer walk with thee, grant Jesus this my plea. I'm daily walking close with thee, let it be, dear Lord. Oh, just a closer walk with thee, granted Jesus this my plea. I'm daily walking close with thee, let it be, dear Lord, let it be, let it be, oh Lord. Oh, I'm daily walking close with thee, let it be, dear Lord, let it be.
And that was for Chloe, who wanted to say how glad she was that she managed to pass her grade 8 singing. So well done, Chloe.
With a merit, I
yeah,
think it
well
was.
done, Chloe. Well done.
Well done. That's very good
that was
indeed.
great.
Great thing to do.
I also want to dedicate it to Helen Poole with our love. So Helen, that one's for you as well.
And just to say that if you want to hear it being sung with the girl who wrote it originally, coming back in September the 17th, I think it is. Or no, is it? Can't remember. What's the date? Somebody remind me.
I see.
1st of October.
Yeah.
1st of October, thank you. 1st of October, Sue and Audi back in the show. 1st of October. And on the 10th of September, the first one back we're going to be with the massive superstar guitar player, singer-songwriter, Bryn Howarth. He's coming back in, and he's going to do that. Now I'm going to sing another song, and then after that you can do the notices.
Okay.
I'm going to do the Oh Love That Will Not Let Me Go, because I think...
This is lovely. And this one, can I just introduce it?
Yeah, I'm just
So
learning
this
what I'm going to do with
one
it.
is particularly for two couples. The first one is for the Hunkins, for Mike and Jill Hunkin. You were 37 years old as a couple this week, but unfortunately it was the first time you've ever been apart on an anniversary, and that was because poor old Mike was in hospital, and Jill wasn't allowed to come in to see you because there was COVID in the ward, etc. So hopefully you are together now, safe and sound. So happy anniversary for last Wednesday. And particularly for dear Sally and Roy. Roy is in hospital. So Roy Windsor is in hospital, has been for a little while now. Hard time. They're trying to work out what the situation is with Roy. And poor Sally is sleeping on a mattress on his floor, either in the room or in the toilet next door. So not a very easy situation for them, but we send them both our love, and this song especially for them as well.
Oh, love that will not let me go, I rest my weary soul in thee. I give thee back the life I owe, that in thine ocean depths flow, me reach a fool be, me rich a fool be. That follows all my way, I yield my flickering torch to thee. My heart restores its borrowed ray, that in thy sunshine's blaze this day may brighter, fairer be, may brighter, fairer. Oh, perfect love, unchanging love, oh, love that will not let me go. Oh, perfect love, unchanging love, oh, love that never lets me go. Oh, joy that seekest me through pain, I cannot close my heart to thee. I trace the rainbow through the rain, and feel the promise is not vain, that morn shall tearless be, that morn shall tearless be. Oh, cross that liftest up my head, I dare not ask to fly from thee. I lay in dust life's glory dead, and from the ground there blossoms red life that shall endless be, life that shall endless be. Oh, perfect love, unchanging love, oh, love that will not let me go. Oh, perfect love, unchanging love, oh, love that never lets me go.
Lovely.
And that song from the album Hymns Project, one song that I wrote.
What I wrote.
What I wrote with Sue cooking spaghetti bolognese in the kitchen.
Ah, yes.
And she's put her name to it. I have no idea why, but imagine that when I die, she'll get the royalties. I think that's probably what it is.
Okay, Rachel, let's go for the notices.
Oh, we have an order, do we?
We do. And this is the order now. So looking forward to this coming 2 weeks. We are going to be doing week 1 at Thornley Hotel, Grange over Sands. Then there's a concert in the weekend in between. And then there's the week afterwards. So please, those of you who would like to pray for us, pray for strength. I send positive thoughts to help Jonathan manage 2 weeks, but really looking forward to spending some time with many of you good folk then. In September, we will be at Longton Elim Church in Stoke-on-Trent on the 23rd. October, we have 3 dates in there now. So first of all, we will be with the Binons.
I will be with the Binons.
The Binons.
If not, they sound it's very space. The Binons. I think that's it.
In Fordingbridge.
And I think actually that he will tell us right now whether it's the Binons or the Binons.
No, he's already told me. He corrected me last week.
Oh, it's the
So
No,
it's the
I bet
Binons.
Ben.
Oh, Ben.
Because
okay.
Ben will tell us
right.
because they are Martian.
Fine. No one knows what you're talking about. So, 7th of... No, you see, put me off now. I said so again. 7th of October, Fordingbridge with the Binons. Then the 21st, this is a new date. We are down in Bude, Cornwall. So if you're still thinking about what to do about your holiday at the beginning of half term, why not come to Bude and see us at Bude Methodist? 28th.
Fantastic place.
It is lovely,
Right by the
actually.
sea.
Right by the sea.
Really great.
28th of October will be down at Stoneleigh. Then heading into November, we have a weekend at Loughborough, but I think the service on the 19th is open to all. 25th is Christmas with JV at St John's Walton in Chesterfield, and the tickets for that are going very well already, which is great. Then we have December the 2nd in Pett near Hastings, and on the 9th, Christchurch and St Paul's in Paynton, both Christmas with JV, not to be missed. And already
So
we're going into
3 Christmases, 3 Christmas events, which is great.
already going into February and beyond. So 17th of February, we will be back with friends in Newent, which will be marvellous.
Yeah,
Absolutely
that's marvellous. And we've got some other dates in there as well that are coming up.
Yes. If you wish to know more about putting on an event, then you need to contact me. Let's go to the Steinway room dates. Back to Steinway room dates, Rachel. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so we then have... It's very hard not saying
No, it
so.
is difficult.
It's
So-
very hard.
I know, back in the day, you
Back
didn't
in the
say
day.
it.
We have Music and Chat with JV and Sue. Bryn Howarth is our guest on the 10th. Look at it. We've got 2 dates in every month by the look of it. So we've got the 10th and the 17th in September. We've got the 1st and the 15th in October. We've got the 5th and the 12th in November, and the 3rd and the 17th in December. So we will put those, it will be recorded one on the 17th.
Good, 'cause
Yes.
I'm doing a-
Jonathan's looking at me as if to say we can't do that because we're doing the carol services. That's the plan at the moment, folks. We are already fitting in guests. We've got Bryn on the 10th. We've got Sue Rinaldi with her lovely voice on the 1st of October.
There are so many people lined up. Actually, we just haven't allocated dates, that's all.
No, that's right. So that will be the Steinway
I've got
room.
the guy from Imagination coming in, the guy, Body Talk, Buddy Day, and his wife, they'll be coming in to do a show with us. And various other people that I've got, I can't commit without getting absolute commit. Oh, yes, we've got Patrick Regan from coming in. We're going to doing an
You're going to
interview
do
with
a
him.
live interview with him,
With
aren't
him.
you? So that will be nice.
So
You'll
that'd
go
be
and
a
do
great
a
show.
recorded interview.
And those of you who don't know, that's what's it called?
Kintsugi Hope.
Kintsugi Hope. A great message he's got. Anyway, worth it. Patrick Regan, OBE.
Where we're moving on to then, Rachel. Excellent. So here we have all about YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and to join our YouTube channel because Rachel puts out so many little bits and pieces, all of Jonathan, of course. So we have 960 of you already subscribed. Only another 40 and we're up to the 1,000. When we get to the wonderful magic 1,000,
we all get £1 million.
All kinds of things could happen. So please, if you're not subscribed to YouTube channel, please do so. Jonathan Veira's YouTube channel. make sure you click on subscribe. Dead easy, cost you nothing, but it could make a big difference to us if we get up to the 1,000. As I said, if you want to know anything more about putting on a show, finding out more details, then it's sue@jonathanveira.com that you need to write to. That is the email address for just about anything. Just write to me on sue@jonathanveira.com. If you want to know where the concerts are, what the date are, how to get tickets, that sort of thing, all on jonathanveira.com. There is a calendar there. All the details go on there. Once we've sorted out the publicity for that church or for the organisers, it all goes on to the calendar. All there for you to find out and how to get tickets. And also, if you want to ever buy anything from Jonathan's shop, that is also on jonathanveira.com. Can we go, Rachel, to the away day? That's exactly right. So, the away day, very excited about this, 15th of November. Stuart McCready will be sending something out to you next month. So, September is going to be the month when you are going to find out how much it's going to cost. You've already filled in your RSVPs on this form here at jvlive.uk/JV Retreat. Those of you who have RSVP'd on there for the 15th of November, you will get sent details about what it's going to cost for what you've actually reserved. So Stuart will let you know what it is, and all the money will be going through him to the retreat house itself. If you've got any questions, just let me know on sue@jonathanveira.com. But that's the general plan at the moment. Yes, I think we will end the notices there and we will move on. Where do you want to go next?
Well, I do want to just mention, actually, I'm sorry, I always have to mention, you've got a friend. And if you've got that up, please can you give that, you've got a friend trust. Rachel, could you put that up if you've got that? And, sorry, I can't see it on this. Oh, yes, here it is. So, that's great. And don't forget, if you have a need right now, things are tough for many people, not for everybody, but for most people. And if you have a need that needs answering, that we might be able to help with, I can't guarantee it, but we possibly can. And if it's to buy somebody's house, then no, we can't. If you need a loan of £750,000, then absolutely not. If you need, on the other hand, a bed, or if you need a chest of drawers, or you need something, a washing machine or something else, then let us know. If you'd like to contribute to this, because the fund keeps going whilst you keep giving. Okay, that's the bottom line, is what happens. And the amount you give is irrelevant. It can be £1. If you'd like to contribute to that's what you've got, then give. Give what you can afford, only what you can afford. Okay, and then that's it. And it then helps other people. That's the way it's always worked with You've Got a Friend Trust, and we're very happy for that. That's about it, I think, actually. I just want to say also a big shout out to a gentleman who came today, Roger Webb, who came all the way from Wales to deliver a keyboard to my neighbour, next door neighbour, joined to us in the house next door. And they're a new family from Hong Kong, and they were wanting the child, the 5-year-old, Yui, beautiful little child, to learn the piano. So they asked my advice, and I said, well, let me see if I can get one, and I acquire pianos for people should they need them. And I went on Facebook, and Roger answered the call. A number of people answered the call. Roger answered the call first, and he brought down a piano, which we installed in their room today. He brought it down all the way from Wales, and we're very grateful to you, Roger, for doing that and showing a little bit of neighbourliness to somebody you didn't even know, and helping them out. And you really have. And they wrote to me saying thank you, and thank the gentleman involved.
And the little girl is very excited.
She's very excited playing it away now. And the other thing is, a friend with it is, what was the name? What was the name of the man?
Rob.
Oh, in
the hospital.
ward.
Yeah, is it Bob or Rob or?
Rob, I think it was. Rob in Onslow Ward, in the Royal Surrey up here that Rob. He was visiting. Rob. But we send all good wishes to him. Do you know what? Introducing the wonderful Ben Casey. Here's a little song that I know is a favourite of Claire and Ben's, particularly Claire. And eventually, one day, when they eventually get married, I'll tell you what's going to happen. They want me to sing this at their wedding, as well as be
I think you've just lost your guest.
And to do something else. I think I'll be his best man, and I'll be.
Fly me to the moon, why don't you fly me, fly me, fly me to the moon? Fly me to the moon, why don't you fly me, fly me, fly me to the moon? Fly me to the moon, why don't you fly me, fly me, fly me to the moon? Fly me to the moon, why don't you fly me, fly me, fly me to the moon? Fly me to the moon and let me sing among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars.
In other words, hold my hand. Oh yeah. In other words, darling, kiss me. Come on, fill my heart with joy. Let me sing forevermore.
You are all I long for, all I worship and adore.
In other words, please be true. Oh, in other words, I love you. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mark Hale on piano, come on.
Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. Oh, in other words, I love you.
I love this bit. Mr. Robert Slate on trumpet. Come on, round of applause. Now. And his big bad brother, Johnny Slater, come on. My lovely boy, Nick Veira on the drums, come on. Mr. Daniel Veira on bass, come on, my lovely boy.
Fill my heart with song, let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. Oh, in other words, in other words, I
Love
On vocals, and the Veira boys, Mark Edwards, and the Slater boys. Thank you. That's lovely. Well, that was a memory, wasn't it, Susan, eh?
Down the memory lane, that
Down
one.
memory lane, and that was 2013.
I was at the back.
Praying, because I was ill
Yes,
again.
that's right.
I'd done one night.
Cheering you all on.
Oh, no, that was the first night, wasn't it? I had another night to do after
You
that.
did.
That was the... So, if you ever want to get with that version, it's a fantastic...
It's a great version.
Have we got any more of those?
Got a couple left, I think.
Yeah, a couple. That's a DVD and a CD.
It is.
Huh, people get rid of the DVD players, they get rid of their CDs, and what's wrong with people? Anyway, what a lovely thing it is. And I have to just, before I introduce my guest, I just have to read you one thing, which is, and it's this. I think it's really important to do this.
Okay.
Here we are, Contemplative Monk. I just need you to get this done. It's something about Contemplative Monk, and it was a very lovely thought, actually. And we need all of you to kind of grab hold of this week. Tip your server, return your shopping cart, pick up a piece of rubbish, hold the door for the person behind you, let someone into your lane. Small acts have a ripple effect. Can I say I agree with all of that? Apart from, nobody is getting in my lane, all right? Okay, just wanted that made clear. And now, which moves us swiftly to the man himself, the man we love so much, Mr. Ben Spaceman Casey. How you doing, boy?
I'm all right. I'm all good. Yeah.
Ben Spacey. That will do, well. Yeah, that's
Ben
all right,
Spacey.
actually. Ben Spacey. All right, that's nice. Ben, it's good to have you back. It's been
Thank you very much for having us back. It's yeah.
It was so good during lockdown. So many, I think people increased their knowledge about, but certainly in this community, I'm going to hasten to say that most people in this, 99% of them, increased their information on the moon, the universe, and astronomy in general, and by about 99.8%. You know, there's that line in Rocket Man. It says, "And all the science I don't understand. It's just my job 5 days a week." You know,
which is pretty true.
That's me. All the science. That's
yeah. The song
you.
written was for me. Yeah.
That was for you. It was for you, right?
But that's the thing. I always say, to people, as long as they've enjoyed themselves, they've learned at least one thing, then I've done my job. Yeah. That's what I always do. So, and that's what I do for my job, you know.
So what do you do for your job? Tell us about what you do for your job. Those people who don't know.
Yeah, so a quick rundown for those who don't know who I am, might be seeing me for the first time. I am... Well, I've always loved space ever since I was really small. Went all the way through to university. I did a degree, which is what the BSc stands for down there somewhere. It was unfortunately cancelled, the course, so I can't recommend it to anybody.
Well, after you've
done it. Yeah, we managed to finish, and the year below us managed to finish. It was called Observational Astronomy, which basically taught me how to use a telescope, how to communicate science, which is what I do for my job now. And yeah, really set me up for essentially where I am right now. What I do for my job is I go around with a big inflatable planetarium, which is what we talked about last time. And I go around, inflate this big dome, talk about space, pack it up and go home. So yeah, I get to talk about space.
How are you received when you do that?
Oh, it's everywhere we go. It's usually jam-packed. The planetarium is the sort of main thing that happens. It's the main event. So like there was a what was it? It was a sort of village fete kind of day a couple of weeks ago. And they had all the little bits and pieces going off, but one of the main things was the planetarium. So, and pretty much every show jam-packed. So, yeah,
It's great, isn't it? What about so that's with it tends to be children, doesn't it?
Yeah, it tends to be more primary schools, but there is the odd secondary school in there. There's the odd random event that happens, usually during the summertime when everything quiets down. That's when I call them the weird bookings happen, where you'll turn up to a place where you think a planetarium would never be here, yet there we are, sort of thing, and like different times and all sorts of different things. So
And
yeah.
adults, are we as a species, are we interested? Um, are we interested in things of space? Do you find that people are fascinated by it?
Oh,
Yes, it
yeah.
is.
Yeah, definitely. It's a fascinating subject because we've all got this inbuilt innate curiosity. We have to learn things. We have to find out things. We want to have an explanation for stuff. And so that's always the case. And especially with space, it's this thing that's up there. You can see on a clear night, usually when no astronomical events are happening at all. Um, it's clear, or you've got work early the next day or something like that to prevent you from going out. But you look up and you can see all these twinkling lights, and we want to find out more about that stuff. And that's inbuilt ever since, you are really small.
Yes, I do think, and you do see the great stargazers of the past who look up into the heaven and have no way of knowing what was beyond the primitive telescopes they have, and so they become artists, and they paint pictures of what they think it is like,
Yeah.
and they start to create a geography of the universe, and they make it Earth-centric in general, and so Earth is always at the centre of it. And Galileo, through that time, those kind of ideas of philosophy and art are always affected by people's view of what was beyond, in
Yeah.
terms of what was beyond this atmosphere to the stratosphere and beyond. Am I
Yeah.
talking in the right language?
No, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, yeah.
But that's what I find fascinating, is that we as generations we become fascinated with it, and yet now, since Apollo has when Apollo was at its zenith, actually, its most was when I was a kid, when we would all sit round and watch the first Apollo flight, when it was first went out into space and then into the moon, and etc. And people were fascinated. Then they got bored, Ben. So what was that all about?
So
As Apollo 13, demonstrated, I suppose, in some way. The
what
film.
happened back in the Apollo era is everybody thinks, I may have discussed this before, but it was the whole idea. It had a kind of sinister um, sort of backstory, really, because at the time, America and Russia were not the best of friends. Or I should say the Soviet Union back then. I mean, they're not the best of friends nowadays, but that's beside the point. But yeah, back then, the end of the Second World War, they really wanted to show their power, essentially. And each side had this brand new weapon, the atomic bomb. And essentially, the whole idea was whoever could get the biggest payload into orbit would then be able to have the biggest nuclear weapon over enemy territory. And then, if they were so inclined to, they could drop that bomb in a moment's notice and end many people's lives and basically win. Luckily, it did go in the way of peaceful space exploration, though. And so then you get the Saturn V out of that, and then the leaps and bounds that we've had in the last 50 odd years or more of peaceful space exploration, learning more about our home in the solar system, in the galaxy, in the universe. And so, putting absolutely incredible machines up into space, like the James Webb Space Telescope that took the picture behind me, and all this kind of thing. It's, we're
Tell us
lucky it
about
went
that.
its way.
Tell us about that picture.
Well, this is a picture from the James Webb It is showing a galaxy in the middle. So where are we? Right here. This is the this is the galaxy in the middle here, and it's actually bending the light from the galaxies behind it. So you can see that some
Gosh.
of these galaxies around they look a little bit strange, but the the galaxy is actually bending the light around it because light likes to travel in straight lines. It doesn't
Yes.
like to bend and turn and things like that. But with that, you've got such a big galaxy. There's so much stuff there that it's actually bending space. And so the light is traveling in straight lines, but it's following the curves of the space to actually
Yeah.
get to us. So, yeah, it's just some fascinating stuff.
It is fascinating stuff, isn't it? The thing is, I know that the main thing we talked about, and people just stay tuned because we've got some interesting stuff. We're going to talk about three things, I think, tonight, aren't we? And I want to keep us on track because I want to sing a song in the middle as well. Tell us first about what's going on with Artemis and what, for those people, remember, people assume people don't have a clue what any of this is, and let's go for ignorance first and then information on that.
Oh yes. So Artemis, to give you a bit of an idea, it's the my generation of Apollo, basically. So for those who know about the Apollo missions and things like that and getting to the moon, Artemis is the latest generation of that. We're going back to the moon with it. And Artemis 1, thank you, Rachel. It actually happened in November 22, so the end of last year. And this is the mission that happened. It's far more detailed than really anybody needs. Essentially, what we did is the latest generation of spacecraft, the Orion capsule, was sent out on a test flight. And back in the Apollo era, you had to have somebody on board this capsule because our computers and things like that were not as advanced as they are nowadays. This spacecraft that we're testing and is going back to the moon, taking us back to the moon, is completely autonomous. So if the astronauts come into a problem, like Apollo 13,
Yes.
then the astronauts can get back safe and sound. We don't need to control. We don't need those astronauts to control that spacecraft. We can bring it back, or we can send one out as a lifeboat without anybody on board. The technology that we have
Oh
nowadays
my
is just
word. Goodness.
phenomenal.
How
Yeah,
they would have done for that.
exactly. Yeah, it's just absolutely incredible. And so that's Artemis 1, and that's what we've already started to do. Moving on into the future now, a bit of time
Explain the
travel.
arrows. Explain the arrow direction of travel for people.
So what we're starting off is launch, essentially. So that's number one, then all the way to four. It's just talking about how the spacecraft will separate out into its individual pieces. And this mission here, if you're following the lines, this is the one that is going to happen hopefully next year, 2024, November. That's when they've got it scheduled for. This will have astronauts on board, and they will be our first astronauts out to the moon since 1972, over
Good.
50 years ago. And what they're doing is they're doing what is called a free return trajectory, which sounds quite complicated. Basically, if they go out to the moon, once they're on their way to the moon, if anything happens, like Apollo 13, they will come back safe and sound. They don't have to do anything. The spaceship will come back and they won't have to do anything, which is really, really important, as proven by Apollo 13. But what they're going to do on this one is they're actually going to test the spacecraft for the human element of the spacecraft. So we've tested the computer systems. We know it works. We know that it's doing exactly what it needs to do, but we need to test it because ultimately it's a human spacecraft. We're sending humans to the moon. And so they need to be comfortable. They need to make sure that it flies how they want it to fly, that it responds how they want it to respond. And if there's anything that needs to be done, needs to be improved, they can do that then for the next mission, essentially.
Excellent.
And then talking of the next mission, this is the really amazing one. So we're sending out the spacecraft, we're sending out the astronauts. Artemis 3, which is going to happen, and this is how how close we are to getting back to the moon. It's going to happen in 2025.
Gosh, okay.
And this one is where we are sending astronauts back to the surface of the moon.
Okay. That's the
And
stuff, isn't it? That's
yeah.
the stuff of
Now,
dreams,
there
that's
has
all.
been a little bit of talk that it might be delayed just a little bit, only by a year, which in terms of space programs and space missions and things like that, it's not that bad. It's not that bad at all. So fingers crossed by the end of the decade, we are definitely getting back to the moon, 100%, which is going to be
Brilliant.
really incredible.
And can I have you booked your place?
I haven't, no.
Well, they won't take you.
I'd love to go. I would absolutely love to go. In
Would
fact,
you? Would
yeah,
you? Would you like
I
to
would.
go?
I would. Well, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. And
I know,
going
but
up
it's
to space.
oh wow.
It's a lot.
I mean,
it's
can
a
I
lot
just ask
better
people-
than it was in the Apollo era. It
Yeah,
really
exactly.
was.
It's the safety. It's not like going down in a submarine now.
No.
With you understand.
Yeah.
Those lives that were lost. I'm just asking people now. Could you write in and tell me if you'd like to go? If you had the opportunity and the money, if it was a money thing, would you go to the moon? I don't know whether I would actually. I'm quite frightened of going to Croydon. So
How much is it going to cost to go up? Is it 350,000?
So, I don't know how much to go on like a trip to the moon,
Space.
that kind of thing. But to go up to the International Space Station, if you
Yeah.
wanted to buy a week trip, because that's what they do, it costs about $10 million.
10 million. Hold on, just hold on a second. Sue, what have you got in the savings, love? Have you got
We probably have to ask YGAF to top it up a bit.
YGAF? We can, yeah. If you could keep giving to YGAF, please, okay? This week, see what if we can make a dent. So that's 10 million. So
Yeah.
I think
And that's
we're
just for
only
one
Will you
seat.
sing?
nine
Just
million
for one seat.
999,000.
Would you sing?
999 pounds
Would
short.
you sing all the time? Fly me,
Fly me to the moon. Then they go, okay, we've flown
No,
you.
you're going to
you
the
know.
International Space Station, mate. Moon's too far at the moment.
Karen said we're all afraid of going to Croydon.
Well, that was it. That's what I said. You see, I said that. Yeah, I mean, that's...
But yeah, the way that rockets are built and the technology and everything else, they are far more advanced than back in the Apollo era.
Yes.
Much safer as well.
much less
even though
Well,
yeah, you're still strapped to millions of pounds of rocket fuel, everything else. So yeah.
Well,
Then
is that
What's this next picture that?
So
that Ben's
yeah,
got up
this
here?
after Artemis 3, once we've got back to the surface of the moon, the way that we're going to be making the moon more accessible and more frequent is actually building a space station in orbit. So we've got the International Space Station in orbit of Earth. It's been up there for over 20 odd years now. And it's definitely showing its age. So eventually that'll end up coming back down to Earth, sadly. But this space station will be around the moon. And so it will act essentially like a bus stop on our way to
Mars.
the moon. And to Mars, exactly. So what will happen is you'll get a spacecraft up to a space station around Earth orbit. And then you'll then take another spacecraft out to the moon. Anybody who's going off to the moon will then leave and go on down on a lander.
all
Anybody who's
stations,
then going to Mars-
so all stations to
Yeah.
the moon, all stations to the moon. Have your tickets ready, please.
Yeah, pretty much. And then the next one would then be off to Mars, which is shown there. Beautiful
Oh my
images.
word! So
And this is the
kind
thing
of
about
staging post.
space exploration. Our spacecraft are getting so advanced now that you're getting beautiful pictures like this of planets and galaxies and stars and all sorts of things that are out there to see. And it's just amazing. Absolutely.
It must be. It's like a kind of. It's like a birthday for you all over again every day, isn't it? When you fit stuff like that. I see you light up. Normally, you're a miserable northerner, but
I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad.
well, no, you are.
Lovely. No.
Now, just tell us about this second one, because I think this is quite interesting to me. SpaceX. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about this, because I don't know. I mean, I have to be honest in saying I don't know nothing about it. All right. So whatever you tell me now will be 100% education.
So, SpaceX is owned by Elon Musk, which I'm sure people will have heard about.
Him, yeah.
Yes, that guy. He's a bit eccentric at the moment, let's say.
Really? Do you think so? You think?
You never would have guessed. But essentially, back in the Apollo era, it was these big government companies, these big government agencies that had the ability, they had the funds, they had the technology to get to the moon. And SpaceX, well, they are a private company and they are making moon and space travel more affordable. It's much more affordable. Right now on the screen, we've got a bit of history, actually, because Starship, the spaceship that they are developing and that NASA is actually talking with SpaceX to have contracts with, to help them get to the moon, to help them build moon bases, to build Mars bases, that kind of thing, is going to be one of the biggest and most powerful rockets that we've ever produced. And on screen there, sorry, Rachel, I want to go back one, if you can. So everybody might be familiar with the Saturn V, which is on the left on there, which is one of the biggest and most powerful rockets we've ever built. The one on the right you might not be as familiar with, but that is the Russians' attempt to rival the Saturn V. It's called the N1, and it was not as successful as Saturn V, which is why most people haven't really heard of it. But it bears a bit of similarity to Starship, actually, because at the bottom, and this is a picture from the bottom, it has 30 engines, 30 smaller engines. Like Starship has got 30 smaller engines. The Saturn V had 5 F1 engines, the most powerful rocket engines, or some of the most powerful rocket engines we've ever built. And the reason why the N1 was so unsuccessful is because lighting 30 engines all at the same time is very difficult. Lighting 5 is a lot easier. And so then, of course, the Saturn V we're not using anymore. The knowledge of building those engines actually went with the engineers who've passed away in the 50 years since we've built the Saturn V and been to the moon. The SLS is the replacement of the Saturn V, and it's only got 4 engines at the bottom. So 4 massive rocket engines, car-sized rocket engines. They are huge, absolutely massive. And then 2 massive solid rocket boosters to get that Orion spacecraft up to orbit and out to the moon.
Gosh.
And that's Starship. That's the rocket that is going to be
How
sent
big is that
up.
then? Well, give me some sense of perspective.
It is about the size of the Statue of Liberty, probably even a little bit bigger, because it's actually slightly bigger than the SLS that we just saw in the last picture. It is massive. And what makes it different is that for SLS and these other rockets, they tend to break down into smaller parts. And so you usually have at least 3 or 4 different stages. Yes, so you end up with a small catch-up at the top. In this picture, you can see the black part at the top. That's Starship. The bottom bit is the booster. So this is only two sections, which is really crazy. Really crazy. And this is a massive ship. Massive. And in fact, it is so large that it will be one of the biggest and largest rockets we've ever produced as humanity.
How long can it take?
It's going to take
countdown 1. We're going to start our go no go poll for today's flight. Raptor 1,
go.
Raptor 2,
Go.
Stage 1.
Good morning. On your screen is Starship as it awaits our first ever integrated flight test from Starbase Texas.
Flight directors go for flight. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Ignition. 2. We have liftoff.
over. Onboard view from Starship. What a sight! We're flying at twice the thrust of the Saturn V heading to space.
Next cue. There's another engine.
Wow. I mean, that's a very impressive video, isn't it?
Oh,
That's
yes.
really eye-catching. It just goes to show everything that could be caught in a video. It's just so much more impressive. The thrust, it said twice the thrust of Saturn V.
So it's I don't actually know off the top of my head how much thrust it's got. It's got a lot. It's got a lot. It rivaled the Saturn V, definitely.
Has it got, because you know you talked about lighting the engines. I have that problem with my MX MR2 because we have to be, Sue has to stand at the back with a lighter, you know, to get it going before, and then, but that simple thing, sometimes simple is easier. So 5 or 6 is a better bet than 30.
Definitely. In fact,
pure thrust is not the answer.
Yeah, so if you actually had a look in the there we go. So there's 33 engines and it's 16.7 million pounds of thrust. It is massive, absolutely
massive.
It's just a lot of energy.
Do you know what was exciting? What was exciting there was watching people's response to it. I mean, not least of all Elon Musk's smile, because that could have been a bad day if it had gone the way of.
Well, it didn't exactly go according to plan. And say in the little video, you can actually see at the bottom, all of those 33 engines should have been lit, but they had 5 go out during the mission, during the launch. And that goes to show you, again, with the N1, why having so many engines is a real issue. Because even just 5 going out, it can cause a massive failure of the rocket. So only having a few engines, the fewer the parts essentially that can fail, the better. So,
just a question: how do you think it's going to affect? And this is a brief answer, but we always have a moral aspect to this. How do you think it will affect mankind?
I think it's definitely positive. I wouldn't say it's negative. Because
in what way? Because you have multi-billionaires in control of access to space, and with that comes power. I don't trust Elon as I wouldn't trust Bill Gates or any of the others with great power. I mean, that does concern me.
Oh yeah.
There's no, you know, it thrills us on the one hand, and yet with that, he hasn't exactly shown himself to be the most responsible of human beings. So so far. Or any of them have actually. None of them, you know, were fighting it. So, what do you think? Why would you think it's going to be positive?
I think it's definitely positive because there's always going to be somebody who wants to do it better. Because like with Elon, sort of the 30 engines. Yeah, it's a big rocket, but 30 engines. Well, somebody out there would probably be thinking, well, why is he using 30 engines? He could use 5 engines like the Saturn V. It'd be far more reliable. You could have, you know, just a few of those Raptor engines go out and cause a massive failure, like they did with the launch. And so there'll always be somebody wanting to better what people have always done. And for that, it'll be creating more reliable technology, creating it cheaper as well. And eventually, it's going to get to a point where in our lifetimes, we are going to be taking a holiday to the moon or to Mars. That will happen because space tourism will take off because there are loads of people like myself, you know, who can't afford to go to space, but would love the opportunity to go. even
Yeah.
just once in a lifetime,
Yes.
just to go. And that's the thing. We're going out there for exploration, but also, I suppose, in some ways for a little bit of selfishness as well.
Yes. To see. It's
But
just
yeah,
because it's what people say, why do you climb the mountain? Well, it's there. But that's why you climb the
exactly. It's
mountain.
there.
It's
And to
that
say that I've
philosophy, isn't
climbed
it?
it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get that. It's very exciting to watch that.
Mhm.
Now we are, as always, up against time.
Yes.
But just that the last little thing, which I'm just going to put my little bit in here because on the Isle of Wight we had a firework display that was actually excellent.
It was stunning.
I'd not been
Absolutely
well for
stunning.
days, and
was a
we had a
lovely
lovely veranda that belongs to the person who we rent the place from, and it looks out over the sea, literally right by the sea, and out to the pier. And the guy who owns the pub down the road, he'd put on there was a carnival, and he put the nighttime, and it was a fantastic fireworks display. And afterwards, of course, everything just died down and it was gone. And then we looked just out to sea, and the meteor shower started happening. People going, "Oh, look!" So we started seeing, because it was pitch black, more or less.
Some natural fireworks.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit about that before you leave us tonight.
Yes, so right now is the peak of the Perseids meteor shower. And it is one of the best meteor shower displays that you can see. So if you have the opportunity, if you have some nice clear sky, go out and have a look. Unfortunately, we've not had the opportunity. The weather has been rather terrible where we are.
Yeah.
So yeah, natural fireworks, we haven't got any.
You haven't seen? Have you seen anything?
We've seen one or two, but yeah, I've managed to capture some in the past, which we'll have a look at in a little bit, some pictures. But yeah, it's an amazing thing. So, talking about meteor showers, let's have some pictures, because meteor showers, the annual ones, the ones that happen every year, they come from comets. And these are leftover building blocks of the solar system. They are dirty, great snowballs, really. They're made out of rock, ice, and dust. And as they come in, this picture actually was taken by my lecturer at university of this comet that was discovered in 2022. Beautiful green color. Unfortunately, I didn't get to image it, so I'm quite jealous of this picture. Many other people did. But what happens is, as they come into the inner solar system, they heat up. And as they heat up, they break apart. So this ice, dust, and gas all come off this comet. And this is what a comet looks at really close. And in fact, we had landed on this one. This is Comet 67P, Churyumov-Gerasimenko. And as it comes in, you can see here that you've got this big ball of rock and ice.
Yes,
but out the back, this is where all the dust and the ice is. And as it comes into the inner solar system, that dust and ice trails behind the comet, and it gives us those beautiful, beautiful pictures that we've got. And these things are massive. They're not tiny. They are the size of mountains. And here is how big
word.
Comet 67P is. Yeah, it is the size of a mountain. It is absolutely huge indeed.
Gosh.
Just to give you an idea of just how
That is,
big
isn't it? It's massive.
Yeah, they are absolutely huge. They are really, really crazy. And I think 67P is sort of middle of the road in terms of comets, if I remember correctly. You can get ones that are bigger than this. You can get ones that are smaller than this. And this is the anatomy of a comet. So what we actually call the rocky bit in the middle as it comes into the inner solar system is called the nucleus. And then around it is the dust and gas that we call the coma. And then as it spreads out, you have then a dust tail and an ion tail. An ion tail is just the gas, essentially.
Yes.
And that always points away from the sun. So if you ever take a picture of a comet, or have a look at a picture of a comet, and you see two tails, you can tell whether it's going in or out of the solar system. If the tails are close together, it's going into the solar system, so towards the sun. And if they are opposite ways, then they are actually coming out of the solar system.
How interesting is that?
So
I didn't know that.
what happens is, as this comet comes through, this dust is left behind, and Earth actually passes through this dust that is left over.
Oh,
And
my
that's what your
goodness.
meteor showers
Look
do.
at this.
I love this animation. We've had this.
I love
before.
it. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
so,
Yeah.
so
Really helps
brilliant
me.
to see. And that's exactly what's happening. And so with this picture, this is actually showing you where the Perseids are coming from. I think it might be a little bit zoomed in there, Rachel. There we go. That's better. Fantastic. So the reason why we give them the names of the Perseids or stuff like that is the way that they appear to come from in the sky. And so if you are looking towards the constellation of Perseus, all of these meteors will look as though they're coming from that direction. That's how they get their names. And so the best way to look is actually away from these, and you'll actually see them strike across the sky. And they are fractions of a second, literally fractions of a second. Some of the ones, they can last a little bit longer, and they're called fireballs. And basically, they're bigger chunks of rock that are burning up in the atmosphere. And this right here was actually my very first picture of a Perseid. So you see on the picture on the left, just behind the chimney stack there, this is a place called Middleton Top in Derbyshire, and close to where I live, actually. And that there, just behind the smokestack, is a Perseid meteor. The other thing that's kind of more horizontal, that's a plane. So to show you the difference. And you just have to be looking in the right direction at the right time to be able to see. On the right there, this is actually pointing out some of the constellations that are in this picture, which is quite nice to see. And something that I noticed, it was actually lined up with serpents. The constellation just behind the stack there is actually lined up with the tail of the serpent quite nicely, which is a bit of a coincidence. Yeah, that's a lovely picture. I love that one. And then this one we actually took up here in Barrow with Claire. We actually went out, and this was in 2020. And we actually got two planets in there as well. We had Saturn and Jupiter at the time. We had that Perseid meteor right there. And that's the thing. These things are just literally fractions of a second. Blink and you'll miss them. Literally blink and you'll miss them.
Yeah.
And so you have to be pointing in the right place at the right time to be able to see them. And most times you'll see them just out your peripheral vision, and it'll be, oh, what was that? And then look in one direction to be able to see.
Yeah, it's gone, isn't it? It's gone. I found that with shooting stars. I've seen them over various times, generally in absolute black skies, or clear skies, sorry, and no light pollution. And then you see it, and there it was. And by the time somebody's responded, it's gone.
Yeah.
Which is quite frustrating, actually. So
It
you
is
have to lie. The
frustrating,
best time I've ever seen one, a number, was lying on my back in East Hastings, in a garden in Hastings at about 1 o'clock in the morning, looking up at the skies with Shelley.
I was going to say, who were you?
And Shelley lying on the grass outside his house, and it was during this time of the year, and we watched a number, and it was quite spectacular. You know, it was.
It is. It is. And that's the thing. Once you see it, it'll never be seen again.
No,
never be seen again. No. And if you do want to go see them, if you go out tonight and be lucky, if you can't go out tonight, there will be a few weeks, because these meteor showers, they don't have a set day. They're spread out over a good period of time, usually a few weeks either side, so maybe 2 or 3 weeks either side. So as that dust and rock and everything separates from the comet, it makes a big area which it passes through. So,
Ben, it's 9:45. It's been an absolute 40 minutes of education. I think almost completely and totally, actually, with a little bit of frivolity from me. And
really great. Thank you,
It's
Ben.
been really great having you again. Thank you for you and both of you, for Claire and you, who prepared this. I think she's helped with some of the graphics, I have no doubt. And to Rachel, who's prepared them and downloaded them for tonight. And I think actually show your appreciation in your hearts and everything else right now, will you? And because a lot of work has gone into this presentation so that you might be educated and excited and thrilled. That's the purpose, isn't it, Ben?
As long as somebody has learnt one thing, I've done my job. So
yeah, and there you have. You're an inspirational teacher, my friend. You are, and I'm sure the children love you, and we do too. And you know, you've been on 2 or 3 times now, and each time there's something else that we find out. I love that little animation. It helps me. Thanks, mate. And
You're very welcome.
We'll
thank you
talk
for
very
having
soon.
me.
And congratulations, your 3-year anniversary today, isn't it? So
It is indeed.
We together, and so we send you big love, both you and Claire. And I think I'll sing a song right now. Bless you, mate. I think why don't we do God of the Moon and Stars?
How appropriate.
Who's it for, Sue?
This one is for Fiona Richards. Happy birthday for the 20th, Fiona. We decided that this one would be rather a nice one for you to have for your birthday. So lots of love for next, whatever it is, next week, next Sunday.
Best version ever. Love this. God of the moon and stars, God of the near and far, God of the fragile hearts we are, I come to you. God of our history, God of the future that will be, what will you make of me? I come to you. God of the meek and mild, God of the reckless and the wild, God of the unreconciled, I come to you. God of our life and death, God of our secrets unconfessed, God of our every living breath, I come to you. God of the rich and poor, God of the princess and the whore, God of the ever open door, I come to you. God of the unborn child, God of the God of the pimp and pedophile, I come to you. God of the war and peace, God of the junkie and the priest, God of the greatest and the least, I come. God of the refugee, God of the prisoner and the free, God of my doubt and certainty, I come God of the Lord and the thief, God of our faith and unbelief, I come to you. God of moon, sweet rain, God of
God of a lonely, lonely cross, God who has come to us, we come to you. One of the most beautiful songs. Many years ago, I sung this song, and it changed a lot of what I did. Recordings. I recorded the album on my own, and then somebody heard me singing this song and insisted this is what I recorded. And it became a massive song for us, for Sue and I, and this album, Life and Soul, it took off stratospherically for us. And we recorded many, many other albums, and Peter Martin was the one that picked up this song, first of all. And I want to sing it for Ruth Southcombe. Ruth, hopefully, is still listening with us. Now, Ruth has really lost someone very special in the last few weeks to cancer, and it was a very difficult journey, a very swift journey. And they've been friends for many, many years now, and many friends to many of you out there. Peter Southcombe, and I had the privilege of being able to speak to him for some weeks while he was ill, before he died, and the funeral was on the 4th, I believe, that we could not get to. I wanted to go, but as it was, I was ill, so I couldn't have gone anyway. But we want to say what a great man he was. Peter was a friend to many, a real minister of the gospel for many, many years, 35 years or so, particularly down in Bournemouth, where many people remember him. We did concerts down there. His son spent a happy year with us here in Guildford, Matt Southcombe, and a musician, and was friends with our boys and a mentor for them. And actually, we mourn the loss of Peter, and we do genuinely commiserate with Ruth over her loss. It's a tough and a horrible call, and one that she knew she was going to have to face, and that now she's going to have to face for the rest of her life. And we would like to stand with you tonight and sing this song for you and in memory of a lovely man. King of Kings, Majesty, God of heaven, living in me, gentle Savior, closest friend, strong deliverer, beginning and end. All within me cries out in praise, Your Majesty. I can but bow, I lay my all before you now. In royal robes I don't deserve, I live to serve Your Majesty. earth and heaven worship you, God eternal, faithful and true, who bought the nations, ransomed souls, brought the sinner near to your throne. All within me cries out in praise your majesty. I can but bow, I lay my all before you now. In the royal robes I don't deserve, I live to serve your majesty. I live to serve your majesty. Go peaceful in gentleness through the violence of these days. Give freely, show tenderness, please do, in all your ways. Be righteous, speak truthfully in a world of greed and lies. Show kindness, see everyone through heaven's eyes. God hold you, enfold you, and keep you wrapped around his heart. May you be known by love. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you. The Lord bless you and keep you and give you his peace. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you. The Lord bless you and keep you and give you his peace and give you his peace. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you. The Lord bless you and keep you give you his peace and give you his peace.
Say goodnight to
Good night, everyone. We've loved having you here with us. It's been a very special evening. It's been glorious just to bask in Jonathan singing tonight. So thank you for joining us. Have a good week or two. We so look forward to seeing you when we're back in the room. But until then, on the 10th of September
with the wonderful Brian Howarth. God bless you. Have a lovely night. Thank
Lovely
you,
to
Rachel.
see you,
Thank
everyone.
you, Ben. Thank
Thank
you,
you for
Claire.
joining us.
Tech team, and thank you for joining us. God bless you. Goodbye.